I mean, for me, it's very, very important to say that I'm aware of the power that I have wielding a camera and trying to speak on behalf of somebody else, and um, yeah, not for a moment thinking that I'm here to do you good. No,
Right.
that's a problem. That's a
These
problem.
then these are your sort of, we would say, your ethics, the ethics of what you think your discipline should be doing, including you yourself as a part of that larger community of people that do this as their work, as their sort of as the way of producing meaning, living meaningful lives along with the work that they do. How do you see then, or how do you rather deal with a movie like, let's say, even a nice one like Slumdog Millionaire? I'm assuming as a filmmaker that's a great technically really well done, I guess, for you. But how do you deal with not the production of cliches or the establishment, or not establishment, that's a terrible word for this, but for the confirmation of cliches, or how do we go about rediscovering each other in the world? How should we do this? Because in India, it's also a local problem for us. Like when I was in Vizag a few years ago, and it seemed like a foreign place to me. Mm, And it's a place where my father grew up. But at the same time, if I come to Frankfurt, or if I travel to, let's say, somewhere in Italy, it is still a foreign place. Do you ever think about how we must or should rediscover each other in the world, or even within our country?
I also think it's quite impossible to do that on a large cultural, civilizational scale.
Yeah.
Uh, which is why I think it's important to be aware of the entire politics of representation and the politics of power in
Mm-hmm.
representation.
Mm-hmm.
And so while talking about Slumdog Millionaire, um, yes, it is something that is so easy to consume. It's really that image of India is so easy to consume. Um, and why did Slumdog Millionaire get made?
Hmm.
Slumdog Millionaire got made because Hollywood studios were not getting a toehold in the Indian distribution market, because local filmmaking was so strong, and their dubbed versions of films were not really doing very well unless it was a Jurassic Park or something,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and they were not really being successful in producing films in India, or getting a handle over content creation, as they call it.
Right.
So Slumdog Millionaire gets made. It's not an Indian film. It's made by a British filmmaker, released by a Hollywood studio. It goes on to win all these Oscars. And when you do that, then because a film which is set in India wins all these Oscars, it made their entry into the Indian production market and distribution market much easier. You
Isn't
know,
that so strange, though? It
you
just
won
does.
awards. You won awards, right? Indians won awards on it, whether it was Rasool Pukuti or Gulzar or A.R. Rahman.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody won awards, and I think it's a good thing that people won
Yeah, yeah.
awards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, because all of these are absolutely brilliant professionals. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so it's great that it won awards. It brought about a change that was not happening otherwise. But yes, they got in, and they also got into trouble very soon, because Disney came in. They were not very successful. They made a few productions here, but I think we're back to not having a Hollywood dominance in Indian film production anymore. So Slumdog Millionaire, again, that giving of the Oscars to it had a huge commercial and business interest behind it, when you look at it from the outside. So, yeah. And finally, I mean, again, talking about something like that, I say something and it might make me very angry, about that entire representation of these crooks, who are gluing Bisleri bottles back, with tap water inside them, and so on. Easy characters to consume, and so on. But at another level, when you look at mainstream and popular cinema, at some level, you also view them, I guess, through different framework, different parameters, and so on, where you would, in some ways, separate the entertainment film from the more so-called, within quotes, serious film, and allow them much more leeway. Really allow them much more leeway to use cliche, to use essentialization, and I mean that is, I guess, something for people like us and for academics working in culture studies and film studies to unpack and look at, because we look at films very, very differently.